On Saturday, February 25th, 2017, I had to have emergency life-saving brain surgery. On Thursday, February 23rd, just 2 days prior to brain surgery, I was playing in a seemingly harmless game of basketball during an intramural game at BYU, Idaho. There was a loose ball that was going out of bounds, and me, being me, thinking I was Superman, tried running after the ball. When the ball had crossed out of bounds along the baseline, I was still running full speed. To stop myself in the past, I would jump off of one of the dividing curtains, but just with one foot, then go back to playing in the game. However, this time, I decided to jump off of with 2 feet. Thus, the curtain gave way, and I was left upside down to land on the back of my head, which I did about half a second later. The paramedics were called, and I was whisked away in an ambulance to Madison Memorial Hospital in Rexburg, Idaho. They quickly did a CAT scan, or CT scan, and took several x-rays of my neck. They did not see anything wrong, but told me I had a severe concussion, and gave me a prescription for ibuprofen. I thought I had a concussion because the back of my head was really hurting. Little did the doctors know that 2 days later I would be needing brain surgery. What happened is that the next day, Friday the 24th, I was throwing up nonstop in my apartment bathroom toilet here in Rexburg. When I awoke from my sleep, I immediately went to the bathroom and began to vomit. I don't remember much of Friday, but apparently my roommates took me back to, or one of my roommates, Austin, took me back to Madison Memorial, and they gave me a shot in each of my hips. One was for pain, and the other was for nausea. I only remember getting those shots because they were extremely painful. They then sent me home, despite my mother's pleadings with them to keep me overnight and to repeat the CT scan, and told me to get some more sleep. Later on that evening, after I got home from the hospital, my bishop, Bishop Rowe, drove from Idaho Falls to Rexburg to pick me up from my apartment and take me to stay the night at his home with his wife. My mom had gotten a hold of him and asked that I be with a mother. He graciously offered he and his wife's assistance. There I stayed overnight until Saturday, February 25th. My mom and dad were down in Texas at the time of the accident for the baby blessing of one of my newest nephews, and the soonest my mom could get there was 5 p.m. on Saturday evening. When my mom showed up to my bishop's home, I had lost consciousness. She spoke to me, and I did not process that it was my mother speaking to me. She tried waving and saying, "Matt, it's me, your mom," to which I said nothing and stared blankly past her at the wall. She told my bishop's wife that they needed to get me to the emergency room as quickly as possible. The Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center was just 5 minutes away, and that's where we went. They immediately did a CT scan and found dried blood, along with a fresh bleed in my left frontal lobe. What had happened is when I hit my head on the floor, my brain literally shook, which is why it started to bleed in the left frontal lobe and not the back of my head. The doctor told my mother that if he did not operate on me right then, I would be dead later in the evening. It was already 5:15 p.m., so they had to act quickly. When my mother saw the condition I was in, she wanted to make sure I received a priesthood blessing, which I had already had a testimony of, but that testimony grew even stronger after what happened. She got a hold of one of my relatives that lived nearby, and he came with his home teaching companion to administer a blessing of healing to me. I don't remember any words of the blessing except for the words, quote, "I bless you to make a full recovery," close quote. Those words were all I needed to hear, and my body relaxed. They then took me away to do surgery and ended up shaving my head. Yes, I didn't exactly have the sweet hair for a while, as you can see. Cut my head open and cut out the dried blood and part of my left frontal lobe, which was about the size of a small cutie orange, which is like about that big. They then sealed my head back together with 38 staples. On my mission, my companion and I taught this young man who was not a member, and his wife, who was less active. When the young man would pray, he would always thank Heavenly Father for his health and his life on the earth. He would literally always pray for those things. In my mind, I thought, aren't we guaranteed to wake up tomorrow? Why is he thanking Heavenly Father for things that we are guaranteed for and for health and life? As soon as I woke up from my surgery, this story was all I could think about, and how I, in a very literal sense, was so very grateful for my life being preserved. Now, I don't tell this story to try and make you feel sorry for me. I tell it because of the miracles that began to unfold following the landing on my head, immediate knockout, and my almost full and complete recovery just over 6 months later. The words of King Benjamin in the Book of Mormon come to mind, which read, quote, "If ye should serve him who has created you from the beginning and is preserving you from day to day, by lending you breath, that ye may live and move and do according to your own will, even supporting you from one moment to another." Thank you.